Welcome back to Nation of Glory. Today, we honor a man whose name is known in every corner of the globe. A man who could captivate crowds with his lightning-fast fists, his quick wit, and his unshakable confidence. A man who not only became the greatest boxer of all time, but also a voice for justice, equality, and humanity. Muhammad Ali, born Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr., was more than an athlete. He was a champion in the ring and a champion for people, whose courage extended far beyond boxing ropes. His story is one of talent, determination, controversy, and triumph. And today, we tell it the way it deserves to be told. Muhammad Ali was born on January 17, 1942, in Louisville, Kentucky. He grew up in the segregated South, in a time and place where opportunities for young African Americans were limited, and racism was woven into everyday life. His father, Cassius Clay Sr., was a sign painter and mural artist. His mother, Odessa Grady Clay, worked as a domestic helper. They gave their son love and discipline, but life was not always easy. Money was tight, and the world around him often reminded him of the color of his skin. At the age of 12, a twist of fate brought boxing into his life. Someone had stolen his bicycle. Furious, young Cassius told a police officer, who happened to be a boxing coach, that he wanted to find and whip the thief. The officer, Joe Martin, told him he had better learn to fight first. That's how the journey began. Cassius started training in a small gym, learning the basics: the jab, the footwork, the discipline it took to last round after round. From the very beginning, he had speed, reflexes, and confidence that set him apart. By the time he was a teenager, Cassius Clay had racked up an impressive amateur record. He trained relentlessly, fought often, and studied every opponent. His style was already unique. Instead of planting his feet and trading punches like many boxers of the time, he used movement, dancing around the ring, relying on his speed and reflexes to avoid punches and strike back with precision. It was the beginning of the style that would one day be summed up in his famous phrase, "Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee." In 1960, at just 18 years old, Cassius traveled to Rome, Italy, to represent the United States in the Olympic Games. He was nervous about flying and wore a parachute on the plane, just in case. But once he stepped into the ring, there was no fear, only focus. He fought his way through the tournament and won the gold medal in the light heavyweight division. When he returned to Louisville, he was a local hero. But he also faced the reality that his gold medal didn't shield him from the racism of his hometown. In a story he would tell for years, Ali claimed that after being refused service at a whites-only restaurant, he threw his Olympic medal into the Ohio River. Whether every detail of that story is true or not, it symbolized the frustration and injustice he felt, feelings that would shape his voice outside of boxing. After the Olympics, Cassius Clay turned professional. He was unlike any fighter the sport had seen. Most boxers let their fists do the talking. Clay talked before, during, and after fights. He predicted the round in which he would knock out his opponents, taunted them with rhymes, and declared himself the greatest before he had even won a title. Many saw it as arrogance, but Clay saw it as psychology, getting into his opponents' heads and drawing the crowd's attention. And the truth was, he could back it up. In 1964, at the age of 22, Cassius Clay got his shot at the world heavyweight title against the fearsome Sonny Liston. Liston was considered unbeatable, a heavyweight destroyer who had crushed opponents with his power. Almost no one gave Clay a chance. But from the opening bell, Clay's speed, footwork, and combinations frustrated Liston. He danced around the ring, peppering the champion with jabs and hooks, all while shouting taunts. After the sixth round, Liston refused to come out of his corner. Cassius Clay was the new heavyweight champion of the world. After the fight, Clay made a life-changing announcement: he had joined the Nation of Islam, and would no longer be known as Cassius Clay, the name he called his slave name. He would be Muhammad Ali. The decision shocked the sports world and drew both praise and criticism. For many, it was the first time they had seen a champion openly align himself with a movement calling for black empowerment and challenging the racial order of America. In the years that followed, Ali defended his title with flair and dominance. He knocked out former champions, dispatched top contenders, and remained unbeaten. His style was mesmerizing: dancing footwork, lightning jabs, and an uncanny ability to avoid punches. He became an international superstar, loved for his skill and charisma, but also controversial for his unapologetic confidence and political stances. Then came 1967. At the height of his career, Muhammad Ali refused induction into the U.S. Army during the Vietnam War, citing his religious beliefs and opposition to the war. His famous words, "I ain't got no quarrel with them," Viet Cong, echoed across the nation. The government stripped him of his boxing license, took away his title, and sentenced him to 5 years in prison. Ali appealed and remained free during the legal process, but he was banned from boxing for more than 3 years. Those years, when most fighters are at their peak, were taken from him. But he stood firm, saying he would rather lose everything than betray his principles. In 1971, the Supreme Court overturned his conviction. That same year, Ali returned to the ring in one of the most anticipated fights in history against Joe Frazier. It was billed as the fight of the century. Both men were undefeated, both were champions in the eyes of the public, and both wanted to prove they were the best. Frazier won a brutal, hard-fought decision, handing Ali his first professional loss. Ali didn't quit. Over the next few years, he fought his way back, defeating top contenders and earning a rematch with Frazier, which he won. Then came 1974, and the legendary Rumble in the Jungle against George Foreman. Foreman was younger, stronger, and had destroyed his opponents. Many feared for Ali's safety. But Ali had a plan, the rope a dope. He leaned on the ropes, letting Foreman punch himself out, then attacked in the later rounds. In the 8th round, Ali knocked out Foreman, reclaiming the heavyweight title. A year later, Ali and Frazier met for the third and final time in the Thrilla in Manila. It was one of the most punishing fights in boxing history. Under the sweltering heat, both men gave everything they had. After 14 brutal rounds, Frazier's trainer stopped the fight. Ali won, but later said it was the closest he had ever come to dying in the ring. Ali continued to fight through the late 1970s, eventually losing and regaining the title again. In 1981, after a long career, he retired with a record of 56 wins, 5 losses, and 37 knockouts. But Muhammad Ali's impact went far beyond boxing. After retiring, Ali devoted himself to humanitarian work. He traveled the world as a goodwill ambassador, delivered food and medical supplies to those in need, and used his fame to promote peace and understanding. In 1984, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, likely brought on by years of head trauma in the ring. Despite the challenges, Ali remained active, meeting world leaders, inspiring young athletes, and lighting the Olympic flame at the 1996 Atlanta Games, a moment that brought tears to millions. Muhammad Ali passed away on June 3, 2016, at the age of 74. The world mourned not just a champion, but a man who had lived by his convictions, stood up for what he believed in, and inspired countless people to be bold, to be proud, and to never give up. He once said, "Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth." Muhammad Ali paid that rent in full, many times over. Here on Nation of Glory, we remember him as more than just the greatest in the ring. He was a champion for people, a voice for justice, and a symbol of courage that will never fade. Thanks for watching. If you believe in keeping the stories of true legends alive, please like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Nation of Glory for more inspiring stories from the heroes of our time.